On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at the guitar. But before we jump into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. In this case, we went to Zzounds again, and we were able to get into the Fender Player Series, the 2 Player Series. As you can see, it is an HSS Stratocaster.
Yeah. We don't get into the geeky stuff. There's other people that do that. But I did ask Billy over at Zzounds, I'm like, what's really popular right now? And he said the Player II series is pretty popular. So we're like, let's check it out. It says 70th anniversary Stratocaster right there on the back. These are made in Indonesia, which is interesting because if I looked at the serial number and saw MX, I would have assumed that was Mexico.
Right.
Made in Indonesia. All right. So first of all, what do we like? I think we both have agreed as the night's going on. We like the color.
Look at that color. That's crazy.
That color's cool. Things that I like, I really like that they put the vintage tuners back on. I don't know if you noticed that yet, but they have
I did not notice that, yeah.
The split tuners where you put the string down in the hole, bend it around.
Okay.
And I've always thought those vintage tuners, like the split tuners like that, are as easy or easier than using locking tuners. Like once you know how to do it, once you know where to cut the string and stick it in and wrap it, they're really cool. So I like that. Rolled edges on the neck's pretty cool. I like the maple neck. I used to be a maple guy, and I like the rosewood now. I think you used to be the opposite, rosewood. Now you like the maple.
Right.
Our taste changes as we get older. So I like the maple neck. But the real thing, before I send it over to Pat, is we've been wondering about the SSH or HHS or whatever you want to call it. We've been wondering about the Strats with a humbucker in the bridge. I've never owned one. You've never owned one.
Nope.
Dave Barber was telling us how like one of his favorite guitars, I think, at one point was that setup. So we wanted to check out some guitars with this setup. So even though this video is about Fender, you'll see a couple more videos, same price range, same thing, and then maybe a comparison at the end. What's jumping at you? Yeah,
I got to go back to the look because I think it's called birch green or something. It's a really great color. I like, and not only you said about the vintage tuners, I like the way that the neck looks aged. It's got that nice yellowing to it with the skunk stripe down the back and
bone nut.
Yeah, bone nut. Didn't really take the tremolo too much for a spin. These two pickups were pretty much what you would expect. A little different when you start blending it with that, but we'll get into sounds in that. The neck is pretty comfortable. They said it's a modern C, so it's maybe a little flatter. This has 9s on it, so it might feel a little bit different. We're used to playing 10s. I think I'm making more observations than what I liked about it. Might be more stealing final thoughts here. I didn't have trouble with the playability of it at all.
Yeah.
Just had to get used to this because, like, as you said, it was our first foray into this.
The modern C, I think, just gets a little narrower.
And you already mentioned
it's a 9.5 radius, I think, on the neck. Yeah. Well, there's something else that was jumping out at me, but that you said. But no, I mean, playability. Oh, I know what it was the strings. One thing I'm not a fan of. And maybe we should look this up before I say it. I think it has 9s on it.
It certainly feels that way. Oh yeah.
And I've always played 10s on Fender guitars, and so those 9s feel a little slinky to me. But other than that, I mean, cool. But we'll get into that. What's it sound like?
What does it sound like? So what I did was I took it through all 5 pickup selections. I picked through something and raked through 3 chords, starting on the bridge, went to the neck. Had a little bit of delay on there for sweetener because that's my thing. Here it is.
when we do guitars, we like to see how it sounds, and we like to run it through a bunch of different pedals and stuff because we have a lot of pedals from the different series we've done. One of the series we did is the It's Electra series, and one of the pedals in that series was the Black Fuzz. And what I love about this pedal, it's one knob, you turn it up. That's it. So here's the bridge pickup through the Black Fuzz.
All right, so it was my turn to pick a series, and I think I was the one that lobbied for the tremolo series. The Cesar Diaz is what started it, but Pedal Pawn made the Chicken Quiff. They like to pattern some of their things after the Diaz pedals, and I think they did a good job with this. So I took this, I put the star of the show in 2, played it through the Tyler JT22 with the Echo Tour, and did this.
Another series we did was called the Shakedown Sound series. That was all about envelope filters. I took the Strat. I mean, the first clip I was on the bridge because we were really interested in what the Strat with the humbucker sounds like. But what's it sound like just as a Strat? So I rolled it to the middle pickup, moved it third position middle pickup, and grabbed the MuTron 4, the Micro Tron 4 from MuTron. And check this out. Whenever we're checking out a new guitar, we also like to do some jams. So for the first jam, I picked some pedals. Like I said, sometimes we like to pick pedals from the series. Other times we look at the shelf and go, what hasn't been pulled out in a while?
I just noticed how much dust is on this, so this one hasn't been pulled out for a while.
Yeah, it has not been pulled out for a while. This is the vintage modern from Lovepedal. He was having one of his sales this weekend, and this pedal did show up.
Okay.
A white version, the gold's much cooler. Just kidding. Showed up in that sale. So I pulled that out. I forgot how much I like this pedal. It really sounded good. Pulled that out, used that in the modern side, and then was looking over at the wall while we were playing this thing, and I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they pull out the Wowee wall. This is, again, there's a lot of dust on the top. This is the G-Lab Wowee wall. It's the Warren Haynes signature guitar or signature wah pedal. And so those two with the Echo Tour under the Tyler. And then you were giving me something to play over.
Well, we talked about having other HSS guitars. We also got in the Sire S7. So I played the Sire S7 straight into the Hot Rod Deluxe with a smidge of reverb. Maybe not a smidge, but you know. well, coming out of that jam, I didn't want to be left out of the drive game, so I grabbed the Keeley 4-in-1 Super Rodent, and I plugged that into the Echo Tour with a little bit of a slapback feel to it. And I had the, if you're familiar with these pedals, there's a tone and a drive sculpting availability here. I had it in the Super Distortion tone and the Rat drive, and I played this.
For my last clip, I wanted to go to that Leslie Sound series. Shirt says, I pulled off the really cool pedal, the Pulse from Donner Prince. If you want to get that David Gilmour sound, because his was unique. He was using those Doppler. I forget how to say what they were, but anyway, he was using something different. They did a really nice job of kind of modeling that sound. So pulled that off. Wanted a little bit of drive in front of it, and Pat had the Noble Screamer sitting in here, so I had it both in the OD setting. Ran that into this. Tyler, DLS Effects Echo Tour Tyler. We did have the red remote plugged into the side of this, so I could switch. You
can have it ramp without seeing your psychedelic Crocs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Nice setup. That's a nice setup for throwing something together.
All right, so I love the modulation world. I love chorus. I love players from the 80s. And we just got in the Julia from Walrus and plugged it in. And I think I understand what the hype is about. So I plugged in the Julia, tried to just dial some stuff in there, some really cool features of this. And we will do an episode about this. And we kind of have an unofficial chorus thing going on, but this may be the start of it, perhaps. But I plugged the Julia in. I think I played it in position 4 on the Strat, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Look at the guitar. So before our final thoughts, we want to set up our last jam. I grabbed the Noble Screamer And I love these hybrid settings. And I had the tone in the OD and the drive in the Tube Screamer side, had the DLS Echo Tour, the Star of the Show, and the Tyler. Tried to use as many pickups as possible playing that. And yours is hanging up there, but what did you?
Yeah, I just grabbed my 19s, well, our 6th, I think that's a 60th anniversary, isn't it?
I think that's right.
Fender Strat, and plugged it straight into the Fender amp. You know, sometimes a Fender Strat plugged straight into a Fender amp, a little bit of reverb is a glorious thing. That's kind of how a Strat should sound. Maybe. So, final thoughts.
Well, I kind of talked about it.
How old are you?
I do. I don't know why, because you just kind of look at it and talk about it, and maybe it brings things back to a memory. Different experience. We kind of knew it would be. Didn't know how different. I'm not saying I've maybe never ever played an HSS at some point, but I never owned one. Never spent a lot of time with one. And so when I play a Strat, a lot of times I live on position 2. A lot of rhythm stuff, a lot of palm muting. I don't play a lot of lead there, but I play a lot of other stuff there. This position 2 sounds different because of the humbucker. And I don't know if I'm stealing part of yours, but we don't think it doesn't completely split this by any means when you go to 2. It does do some kind of 60-40, 70-30. It does split it.
The front humbucker isn't as hot as the back.
We did the very scientific tap test. Very loud here, not so loud here. So 2 was not where my brain puts 2, although I did use it in playing there. You played 3, which is not something I live on. It sounded good. I was sitting over there. And so 3, 4, and 5 are kind of what you're accustomed to. Like I said, it was pretty easy to play. I did like having that full humbucker when I put the Super Rodent on there. I could just, hit it real hard. So it's definitely a different animal. $829 price point, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of guitar for $829. I didn't really struggle with it per se. It was just different.
Yeah, for me, I like those tuners. So I'm not, it's not locking tuners, so it's not as, I like those. I don't know why they stopped. Like I've asked before, why did they stop using that? I have a hot rod telly up there that has those same tuners. And once I figured out how to change strings with them, I'm like, oh my gosh, you can change like faster than I can with a lot of the locking tuners I have.
Right.
It's pretty quick. So I like that. I think that's cool. The neck feels pretty standard Fenderish to me. Maybe a little narrower than some of the ones that I'm used to, but no problems there. The 9s don't like. I could put 10s on it. I think these should ship with 9s because it's kind of universally a good place to start. But you could upgrade to 10s with probably not too much setup work on that, if any. Pickups, we're wondering. There might even be a little. We'll see. Was there a little bit of microphonic noise to them a couple times? But nothing. I felt like it was in maybe the neck pickup that we got that a little bit, and for whatever it's worth, if you go back and listen to the tremolo one, just when you're picking through, and you listen to position 4 and 5, you might hear a little bit of a high pitch noise there. We think that's the pickup because we didn't get it on other guitars.
Right. Because we thought, please tell me the Tyler after all this time doesn't finally need new tubes.
Right. We were wondering. So we switched out some other guitars, didn't hear that. So there might be a little microphonic thing there. Other than that, I dig it. It's cool. Color's cool. Color's great. And Strats, I kind of live in the world of the Strat as a Strat. If you pick up the Strat and you love the way the neck feels, and you like the color of the guitar, you're 90% of the way there for 800 and what is it, 820?
29, I think. Yeah.
29. If you down the road don't like the pickups, that's all changeable. So that's all modeled.
And it comes in, I think, a ruby red, 3-color sunburst, and white.
Right.
Very traditional colors.
I would like the right. I think this is second for me.
Yeah, this is really nice.
So with that, hey, thanks for watching. If you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, clicking notification bell, clicking like button, any of that stuff. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool people in the industry like Zzounds, who sent us this. Zzounds has been so cool to send us over some stuff. So down there in the description, I'll put links to all the stuff we use tonight that you can get there that they've sent us, which is quite a few things.
Right.
Go check those out, support them. They've been really good to the channel and the community. And with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.